do not originate with us. The production of movies that get put on places like Tubi, YouTube, Amazon Movies, and so many other places you can find different movies. We also will be part of a documentary where we'll be doing a nonfiction about bringing equality with healthcare, and that will keep you updated with the status of a movement we're pushing. However, all this various sources of entertainment start with asking for fans like yourself to help support us in different ways. Kurt, can you throw out some of these ideas, who these people are, and how can they presently, until I make the Patreon, how can they presently get involved to help support us?
Well, as a little backdrop first, let's give a little recognition to Marcus Hart with Transforming Media Network, Lawrence Wingate with Wingate Studios and Wingate TV, Jay Stoyan with the Disability Channel. We have Nonprofit TV, where Emily here is running the Facebook campaign for nonprofit work. And so very appreciative of the service to the marketplace and folks at home and people all around the world that the Jaws Coffee Chat series is, to help people with their goals of diet, to give insights there with the Jaws Christ Talk show, with the Jaws Mental Health Awareness and the Follow Your Dreams. And we've got a show starting up with John and his grandson. And so a lot of great work here to be of service and servitude and just help people with their personal journeys in this business of helping people be the best version of themselves. And we're very grateful of one of our consultants and contributors, Bill Walters. He brings to us Impact Health Sharing. And so it's a platform to rival insurance. So basically that becomes the apples to apples comparison, that when you look at the insurance industry and how that operates, most all Americans are feeling the strain and the reality around the limitations that are there with insurance. So that's where there is a disruptive model of membership with Impact Health Sharing, where people can take a look at controlling the costs, their personal out-of-pocket expenses, and do some justice to their budget, their month-to-month budget, by using Impact Health Sharing as a mechanism for the health services that they need and rely on and can build the future of their health upon. And Bill Walters is naturally in this space because he's also a financial advisor, and he helps people at all fronts with financial planning and having other financial services. And he's helping us with our budget as well, with American Communication Network, ACN, available in Canada and the US and elsewhere. And it's, something where I personally benefited. My monthly expenses with Spectrum, to have cell service and to have internet service, my bills went down because Bill Walters shared with this. And I had been involved with ACN, 15 years ago and prior. And I wasn't even on top of that this was something that was needed for my bottom line. So the idea here is by using these consumer products, that there is a way to benefit the work that we're doing here at Jaws Coffee Chat series and keep all these shows going, and all of the work we're doing that spills over to these other organizations like Project Die Hard, where Emily here as podcast engineer helps with Brian Gibson, with Monday Mission, Project Die Hard, spreading hope to veterans.
And how will all this, so knowing all these are different organizations we work with, how will listeners and or other speakers that may hear or watch this be able to, through these different sources, help support the Jaws Coffee Chat podcast and the Jen's Books and More, as far as where the money goes and how that would tie into supporting the audiobook and other entertainment production.
Yeah, well, one thing that viewers and listeners can do is send me a text. Text my Google Voice line 262-372-1SKI. That's 262-372-1754. Even if you just text JAWS, JAW apostrophe S or JAWS or just JAW. I know this is a referral through Jennifer A. Whitaker, and we can continue that text conversation. You can feel free to give me a call. Happy to take calls at 262-372-1754. You can email me, Kurt, Kurt, at projectdiehard.org, and we can go through matching up, kind of what might be helpful in terms of these consumer resources and what you might be able to purchase. And we also have Community Pay It Forward, communitypayitforward.us. With Zach Clayton. Basically, we have a marketplace there that if you buy from the different community partners, we can work with Zach Clayton that by designating the beneficiary to be Jen's Books and More and Jaws Coffee Chat, Community Pay It Forward would be empowered, instrumented by Zach. He'd be able to make sure that that donation is then forwarded on to us. So it's being in touch with us and showing your support through the Facebook page, commenting, and going ahead and putting a message in there that you would like to review our fundraiser. And we can set up to have that conversation and make a particular personal support plan that what makes sense for you, that helps your situation. So it's that win-win-win. We're helping people at home, or even something that they might be utilizing for their business and so forth, or for an organization, and then put something that helps that. And then when we're getting into the vendor of that, like say I was going through Spectrum by way of ACN and so forth, I benefited, and we're able to do this, like you were calling it, in pre-production affiliate marketing. We're able to make sure that a donation is made to support the work here at what's produced through Jaws Coffee Chat series.
Definitely. So where would people go to this program that would be like an affiliate program supporting Jaws Coffee Chat and Jen's Books and More?
Emily, do you have that information? Like Jen, you're like asking for a link. It sounds like you're prompting for a link that I don't have.
Well, I didn't know if one of y'all had a link because we're trying to, guide our listeners.
Yeah, so what we'll do is look for the details that Emily will put in at pre-production. We'll include the link in the description and commentary of where this is going out on streaming. Does that work for you, Jen? Or do you want me to call my wife, Sue, and get the link? I need to hop off this if we need the link during this live streaming time.
Oh, okay. Then we can announce it next time. But like you said, this time our listeners, at least when they see us on social media, can see the link on the post when it hits one of our various Jaws Coffee Chat or Disability Channel or so forth, other social medias where this will be soon.
Yeah, I can tell you that we are connected to biomedical equipment through Beamer Group, bioelectromagnetic energy regulation. And if you go to ability.beamergroup.com, we can take a look at if anybody out there in the marketplace wanted to benefit from, for the rest of their life, having this bioelectromagnetic energy regulation and all of the great prevention and boost of circulation. It helps the microvessels and just very good therapy there. A purchase of that definitely is available for proceeds of that purchase would go to Jaws Coffee Chat Series. So that's ability.beamergroup.com.
How do you spell Beamer Group?
Beamer, again, is bioelectromagnetic energy regulation. I'm putting the chat in our private chat. Here, let me.
Some people will hear this in a podcast. So it's ability.beamer, but how do you spell Beamer in that case?
BEMERGROUP.com. So Beamer, again, is bioelectric or bioelectromagnetic energy regulation. That's where the spelling of Beamer comes from, the acronym bioelectromagnetic energy regulation.
Well, I'm glad I asked you to spell it and you did, because I would think Beamer like a beamy, meaning like BMW kind of slang word.
Well, I'm sure we could work with a Beamer dealer that if you did want to buy a car, we could make proceeds. A donation for sure would be available to Jennifer. See,
man, I'd love to do
anyway.
that. I'm a big BMW fan.
All right, well, let's make that happen. Anybody in the market for a BMW, come talk to the team here, and we'll be a part of your negotiations for that Beamer purchase, and we'll make sure that salesperson promises us and facilitates a donation right here at Jaws Coffee Chat Series.
I don't even know where to go to find a owner of a BMW dealer or sales team or something.
Well, you just look up BMW dealers. You look up used cars and BMW and do your Googles and find a spot. Like I just did it. I'm at Google right now, and I'm seeing 2 BMW dealers right along the interstate along where I live. So it's not too difficult.
Okay, you're telling me to cold call, basically, right?
What's that?
Cold call?
Oh, yeah, it definitely would be a cold call. But in the meantime, until you get somebody saying, hey, I want to buy a Beamer, you could go ahead and call the BMW dealer near you and say, I want to do a fundraiser for Jaws Coffee Chat Series, and what kind of proceeds would be available for my fundraiser, and see what you can do to create a sales deal with the dealer.
There we go. Then I need to make sure I get Ford involved too, for the people that need a more affordable car, because there's some people like me that dream of always having a Mustang.
Yeah, so I've had a Mustang. You're talking about a Mustang? That was my
like
first
Ford
car.
Mustang, yeah.
Yeah, my first car was a Ford Mustang. Yeah.
That's why I dreamed of being my car, but you know how I've told you about like my different conditions make it where I can't even drive. So why would I, at least this far in my life, have had a car,
Yeah, I had a 1983 Ford Mustang. So yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was manual shift, so stick shift, and
it probably had those shades on the back window, right? That 80s stuff.
The no shade. What do you mean?
Shade. They were like things that went a lot, one above the other on the back window.
I think of that as rear defrost. Is that what you're talking about? The rear defroster? The lines are like heating elements for when you're back.
No, not those kind of lines. They were like shades. They would extend out a number of inches.
Oh, I see. Yeah. On that, it would have like that dark band on the top and bottom.
Yeah, kind of like it was shades to keep the sun.
Yeah. In the back, you're talking the rear window.
Right, like the actual back windshield as opposed to the front windshield.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was that diminishing shade, that tinting. It was like it was real dark at the top, and then it kind of, I remember it kind of being like almost bluish. It started out such a dark band, it was like black, but then the blue was kind of diminished, and then it was clear glass eventually.
But they were all these like shade like things that were like about, a few inches away from the back windshield, one above the other. That I thought was to keep the sun from reflecting. I mean, to reflect prevent people from having trouble seeing out their back windshield.
And the
Because in
car
the
I
80s, a lot of sports
had,
cars had those.
I don't remember it being like in the center part. I thought the center part, more like I was saying, had the rear defrost, that it just had those heating elements. So there was like 4 heating element.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of 70s then, because there were some cars somewhere in those 2 decades that had these pieces that extended from the back windshield.
Pieces that what I'm thinking of is built right into the window piece.
Right,
Like
these weren't built into it. These were actually 2 or 3 inch extensions off of the windshield. The back windshield.
Extensions.
Like
I
shades.
see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, my car, I've seen some of the Mustangs or sports cars have that. But yeah, the car I had, mine was maybe modified or something. Because again, I don't remember in that center section that there was anything but the rear defrost. So I think the model I had was modified.
Yeah, but you know I'm talking about those around in that decade, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That it's that you have like the rear window that's like the body of the car, and then there'd be like whether it was plastic or something.
Right, it was some kind of plastic or something that was one above the other all the way down the back windshield.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah, the car I had did not have it to that extent, but it did have that initial visor that I remember. It had just on the top rim, it had a little of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen some different 70s cars, even in the recent years, that we now call antiques. And a lot of them from the 70s, at least I've seen around, or even the 80s, they have those like vents or whatever you want to call them. They're like the shades or whatever. That's why I thought it was a thing in that decade.
There you go. So Jennifer, I wanted to ask you, with Emily and I are involved in mutual aid network, and I'm thinking you've come to one of our meetings somewhere along the line. Didn't you come to one of our mutual aid network meetings? Like,
I think it was literally one, but yes, I did.
Yeah, so you got to be introduced to Stephanie, who's the president of the working board and basically co-founder.
I have no recollection. I've met so many people.
Yeah.
Well,
so I'm just looking at that.
She came to one of our meetings, then she would have met Stephanie.
Well, but I can't place a person, like a face or anything.
That's fine. So let me see here.
So what's mutual aid about?
Mutual aid network. So like in this realm of fundraising, I like to refer people like yourself doing fundraising campaigns to the mutual aid network, because there's things like there's a common fund, and there's project facilitation assistance. So like a fundraiser is a project. But just real quick here, I found Stephanie has a website aside from mutual aid networks. I'm just going to share screen here while we're in here, and I'm going to show you her site. So Stephanie is there to the left. So now are you seeing? Yeah, you're seeing this. So basically,
we're not seeing.
When she's on,
I don't see your screen. Oh wait, there it is. I need to let it in the room. Okay, now we can see it.
Yeah, so right over here to the left where it says "Whenever You're Alive," that is Stephanie on that Reverb Nation.
Yeah, the bottom picture.
Plug in there. Yeah, so that's Stephanie, which obviously she would look quite a bit different there on her.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I don't recognize her there.
Yeah, so let's see here. That's probably the extent of any photography on here. I'm pretty sure.
If you go to her either LinkedIn or Facebook page, she has a picture.
Okay, you want to go ahead and do that? Good idea. Emily's going to show us a LinkedIn or Facebook picture. Our podcast engineer is going to do some podcast engineering. Here it comes, all part of the show, live and in living color. So yeah, the beauty of the mutual aid network is there's the 8 different formats. So like say time banking. So if you want people not only to think of supporting the fundraiser by what they can do in a purchase or financially, they can tithe their time, to Jaws Coffee Chat series and, help us like on the social media side that, like if Emily makes a post about this fundraiser episode and somebody's inclined to help the fundraiser by reposting it or sharing it with their network and they invest 10 minutes doing that, they can bank time for, helping us in that way by allowing us to share a fundraiser with their contacts.
And let's speak to listeners. What would be their gain or some kind of benefit they have for tying their time? Is that volunteer or what is it?
It all depends on, what it amounts to. And because if we're going to set something up beyond a volunteer aspect, we may look at, is this going to amount to more than a few hours? Because if you go into a big setup of saying, to be a part of a remuneration in terms of some sort of a thank you, stipend or something, anything like that, because if it did yield fundraising dollars to.
Or you gave me the idea. What about some people who could be on some kind of commission for generating us more sales, like say people to sell our books to bookstores and to get different traditional what we call them, publishing companies involved to get our books more places, and they get a percentage commission off of bringing that additional business.
Yeah. So I've got a question.
And then there may be others that want to represent us at different trade shows across the globe. And so they can order copies of the books as their stock and then sell it at their own marked up price.
Yeah. So Jennifer, I just want to pause here and just do a little demonstration of, producing a vodcast live streaming. Okay. So, well, unless I'm doing something wrong on my screen, but I see that I'm in the show and everyone can see and hear me, obviously. And I look at the special episode and I'm not seeing that we're live. So I believe Emily
We're talking to ourselves.
Yeah. So Emily, are you there?
Okay, we are live.
Checking with our podcast.
I just realized that we are live on your YouTube card, and that's the only place. And that's the only place.
Well, I know because
that's the only place we're live right now. I just realized that.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit of an issue.
But did you guys see Stephanie's picture? You guys were talking right through it, and I had it up. Okay.
Yeah, I did see that, and I do want to point out again that if we can, with these efforts, figure out a set of notes or something for you, Emily, because we really would like to.
Well, I ended the recording because we're in the middle of it, and that's not a good piece to just take the last half. However, I'd like to thank all viewers and watchers, and thank you in advance for anybody who shares this video or podcast or recommends other people to follow, subscribe, or just to view the different episodes. We will try to set some kind of regular schedule to be on here on Thursdays. We can't tell you the time yet, but today, right now, this first episode was at 12:30 Central today, which is April 6, 2023. and we will set up some kind of regular schedule or frequency to announce additional information and to share with you different links where you can go to help support or grow Jen's Books and More and Jaw's Coffee Chat podcast. Any announcements before we go, Kurt?
Well, speaking of the Mutual Aid Network, you can go to mutualaidnetwork.org. We can invite everybody out there to join us for our home economics class. It kind of comes from that Mutual Aid Network is squarely an economic resource, like I say, able to help facilitate things like what we're doing right now with this fundraiser. That's available at 3 o'clock p.m. every Friday. And then 4 o'clock every Friday is something called Dream Time, which is kind of coincidental in that there's a Follow Your Dreams show that falls right before Dream Time with the Mutual Aid Network. So an interesting possibility.
So follow your dreams into Dream Time.
That's right. that can be the combo package right there. So again, mutualaidnetwork.org. You can go to Go Deeper. In the Go Deeper drop-down menu, there is the man calendar, Mutual Aid Network calendar, to show this stuff. And then there's also man web meeting instructions. So then you click on that tab, and that's where it provides you the Zoom link to join us for all Zoom meetings by the Mutual Aid Network, which we also, Tuesdays at 3 Central, we have a communications work group where we get into the stuff like what we're doing here at the podcasting and social media, and what we do to invite and share out about fundraisers and stuff like that. So everybody's welcome.
Oh yeah, maybe we need to go to that and then see what we gain from that to possibly share at our next episode of special episode.
That would be great. That's what it's there for. Everybody's welcome.
Definitely. Viewers, listeners, and all.
There we go. So Jen, Emily, what's next on this year's special exclusive episode for fundraising and helping support the Jaws Coffee Chat series?
Well, the team is going to discuss what will be a regular frequency of this show, and we'll announce it on our social media, and it will be found also on the same YouTube where they will find this episode airing today, April 6, 2023. That's as of now 1 p.m. Central. And we will post it on Jaws Coffee Chat social medias, as well as others that Kurt and Emily have as far as social medias. And if you watch these special episodes ongoing, you will find additional information on our status of different ways that you can help support us and support our podcasts through different methods we develop in these partnerships with people like Mutual Aid, Bill, Walter, and many other people that we will be at least finding ways to start and hopefully work with, and maybe even a BMW and Ford.
There you go. We have a dream. I hear a dream by Jennifer. So, all right, Emily, are you gonna close this out? Are you gonna package it up, wrap it up, put a bow on it? Are we doing encore? What are we doing, Emily, Jen? Where do we go from here?
We're paying our goodbyes to everybody. We're ready to go on down.
And we do have Happy Business Networking on Clubhouse. That is at 4 o'clock Central every Thursday on Clubhouse with the Happy Neighborhood H&P Club. They're on Clubhouse, available through clubhouse.com.
Yes, and also if they're on Clubhouse, they can look up Jaws Coffee Chat, JAWS Coffee Chat. And that's also where they can find us on air, at least our podcast episodes. that are anywhere from 2 to 5 times a week that we go live on Clubhouse.
All right. So do we have an update
Emily,
now?
back to you.